China's stocks regulator wants to have more communication and also more collaboration with the SEC. Over the weekend, the China Securities Regulatory Commission issued a statement on its website where it said that it hoped that with its American counterpart, the two would be able to find a, quote, proper resolution over these listings. And this is after the SEC had said that it was going to demand additional disclosures for Chinese companies in the wake of the regulatory uncertainty that was created by Beijing with all those crackdowns. Now, the regulator said that it had a couple of important points with this statement. The first is that China, it says, always is open to IPOs at home and overseas as long as they abide by Chinese rules, that China supports dual listings. Its regulations are meant to promote healthy industries, and China disapproves of decoupling. Now, in seeking communication for what it described as a proper resolution, the watchdog also added that it hoped the discussions would be based on mutual respect. Now, the Chinese state media has been echoing the perspective by the securities regulator, and likely because one of the perhaps unintended consequences of these regulatory crackdowns is that investors here in China have also been quite panicked about what they were seeing, not exactly knowing which sector was going to be hit next. And this really helped to calm things down, David. In fact, we saw the stock market rally again, and people coming back in feeling a little bit more comfortable, especially with the line about the regulations meant to promote the health of the various industries.
Well, yeah, I mean, Eunice, that has been the key. Sort of this does seem to be at least somewhat constructive for the first time in weeks, something at least some investors here in the States could grab a hold of as a positive. But I wonder, you know, trying to give some perspective to our viewers right now. I mean, what can you share in terms of the longer term goals here that the Chinese government has been trying to achieve through all these different regulations that have obviously cost so much money for U.S.-based investors in Chinese companies?
Yeah, well, I think the longer-term goal is likely that the Communist Party does want to have a little bit of a greater handle on the private sector. In fact, there was a circular several months back in which President Xi Jinping had alluded to that he hoped that the private sector and private entrepreneurs were going to be much more patriotic, so that the Communist Party would have much more of a handle on these businesses in the sector. But from an individual sector basis, you can see that, for example, in food delivery, the issue is labor. In technology, there's a lot of concern around data security. So there are specific issues with individual sectors, even though there is this overarching concern from the Communist Party that perhaps it doesn't feel it has enough control over the operations of the economy.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.